ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's Left Frame Ring. I'm your host this week, Robert William Beaulieu. Do want to mention we do have the security here today. I'm a little uncomfortable. I don't feel like I have been threatened by Soapy Priya, but I understand the measures. But let's say hi to my guest today, the host of Left Frame Ring, not a podcast, Dan Beaulieu.
Thanks for having me, I guess, on my own show. What's really cool about where I'm sitting today is if Soapy were to attack, I would actually see him coming. So I appreciate security for being here. But Bobby, I'm loving this mixing it up. So yeah, what do you got for me?
Nice. Well, let's start with getting to know you a little bit. So
Sure.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Well, I was born in Malden, Massachusetts, home of the Killer Kowalski's wrestling school, the Triple H trained in. To the audience, I apologize for my voice. And it sounded horrible on the live stream last night too. But born in Malden, raised in Nashua, spent some time went to Plymouth State, so lived there for a little bit. Came back to Nashua. Now living in Merrimack, New Hampshire. Really went far from my roots.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's a great area. I understand staying in the area. It's nice. What are two things that everyone should know about you that are not related to the show that you host?
Well, I think one big thing everybody should know about me is I have three brothers, a niece and nephew, Brady, two parents. Two of my brothers are getting married this year, which is very exciting. But I love my family. They do mean the most to me in my life. They're very important. And I've hiked all the 48 4,000 footers in New Hampshire, much like you have.
Oh, round of applause for that, man.
Yeah, so that was just solidifying how much that I love the state of New Hampshire, was completing that in 2017. And we brought belts pretty much every time.
Every time, yeah. I mean, it is 603 Day. I don't know if you knew that.
Is it? It is
Today
603 Day.
We are celebrating
It should be a holiday.
the great state of New Hampshire.
Might have to get some 603 beers on the way home.
I mean, not to plug it or anything, but,
It's a great brewery. Shout out to Doug Pominville,
yeah,
brewmaster there.
So. Also, you've asked this question thousands of times at this point. Well, hundreds of times at least. So what does it mean to you to be an American?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is melting pot. I love the diversity of our country. But I also like to respect that we have to understand that our history is not always pretty. There's some bad stuff that has happened in this country, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be proud of it. I'm proud of where I'm from. I'm proud to be here. I think being an American is always striving to be better, and I think sometimes that gets lost in translation from time to time. It's not just about putting a flag on your hat, even though I'm very proud to wave the flag and have things like that, but I think it's always striving to be better, but also diversity, respecting everybody's differences. There's no clear-cut mold for what an American is to me, unless you're a Native American, obviously. But I don't think that there's just one clear. There's no mold, I think, for an American.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. We're all different forms of life, and here you have the chance to do whatever you want,
And I think that's hot, and that's what I love about this country. I love seeing how different we are.
Yeah,
it's great. It's a great thing.
Definitely. Well, from there we're gonna hop into some current events.
Sure.
I don't know how much you know about this. Jake Paul, big YouTuber.
I've heard of the Paul brothers, not the biggest fan.
Jake Paul, this week is fighting Floyd Mayweather on pay-per-view.
Is it Jake Paul or is it Logan Paul?
Oh yeah, Logan Paul. I think the clip that I looked at misquoted him and said it was Jake. But Jake is the one who grabbed his hat.
Yes, that is true.
Regardless, YouTube guy, big guy, huge money is gonna be coming in here. They're saying that there's no judges, so technically there's no winner. A TKO could happen, but it won't technically count for any records. So regardless, no matter what happens, Floyd Mayweather will be undefeated, and Logan Paul will still be 0-1. How do you feel? What's the point?
Stupid.
For this? Yeah.
It's dumb. Floyd Mayweather, you are debatably the greatest boxer of all time. What the heck are you? I get you're an older guy now. I think it's a disgrace to boxing. If you want my honest opinion on it, I don't know who wants to order this. I don't care to see a YouTuber face, one of the best that ever lived. I think it's a disgrace to boxing. I think the Paul brothers are kind of a disgrace to boxing.
But I mean, technically, boxing isn't recognizing this. That's why there's no judges. There's no draws. There's no nothing. I will say Floyd did say this is highway robbery because regardless, he's going to walk away with $100 million. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Logan or Jake, although Jake did just sign with Showtime. I don't know if you heard this.
Yeah, with Jake Paul, again, he refuses to fight actual boxers.
Yeah.
He chooses to fight people that really have no business boxing like him. So he's got to, he hasn't even fought an amateur boxer.
Right.
They're a disgrace, in my opinion, and it makes me sick that they're actually doing this. The only cool thing that could happen is Floyd literally puts this guy in the hospital. Otherwise, I've not been a fan since he went to the suicide forest.
Right.
That was
in
really
2017.
really disgusting. Really disgusting to laugh about that. I don't think mental health or suicide or anything like that is a joke. As someone that has battled mental health issues in my own life, I don't have any respect for that man at all.
Understandable, yeah. They're two crazy guys. I mean, it's crazy what two YouTubers that were just filming on their phones have become.
They've generated a lot of interest, but like as Eric Bischoff has said, controversy creates cash, and they've manipulated the people to do that. Why are the Kardashians famous?
Because wasn't their father one of the guys for?
He covered. He was a lawyer for O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
And now we've put up with this family since '94.
Yes.
So
although their show's coming to an end, they're no longer going to be doing the show, so at least we won't hear from them all the time.
Yeah, I just I agree when some people say let's stop making stupid people famous, and I think the Paul brothers the Paul brothers suck. I'm just going to say that.
That's a great transition. We're talking about stupid. I don't know if you've heard of troll stocks, but AMC right now the stock is up 2,000% year to date. Their business model hasn't changed. What do you feel about having stocks like this that are being manipulated through Twitter and through YouTube and through Reddit and things like that being pumped up when, let's be serious, AMC theaters are going out of business left and right?
Well, did AMC shut down during the pandemic?
They did. They were not open during the pandemic. They've slowly opened up, but their business model before this was flawed, and now they're at an all-time high.
Well, I guess I'm happy about it because I want movie theaters to exist. I love the movie theater. I know a lot of people like watching from home. I like the drive-in. I like the regular theater. So I'm happy. If people are manipulating it using social media, well, smarten up, the way I see it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm very sad that Cinemagic in Merrimack is now going to be a thing of the past.
Yeah, same in Hooksett. It's gone Hooksett as well. They are closed.
I mean, that's heartbreaking to me. I was very excited. As a lot of people know, the new Halloween movie is going to be coming out. It got delayed. It was supposed to come out in 2020. Now it's coming. I mean, I love seeing the Halloween movies in the theater.
Yep.
And I would just go to Cinemagic right down the street. So I'm a little sad about that. I love the movie theater.
Yeah.
That's just a Friday night. I don't find anything any better.
So you don't like the idea that movies are starting to move towards streaming? Like you could pay to see the movie now at home.
I think it cheapens it.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm a huge movie guy. We talk about, we have a top fives on this very show about people's top 5 movies. The theater is something that just goes back. It's like Americana. The movie theater is Americana. I mean, our grandparents were going to movie theaters.
Yep.
I don't care for streaming new movies.
Okay.
You want to stream on Netflix, you want to stream a TV show or whatnot, I'm down with that. I don't like new movies being streamed. No, I'm not a fan of that.
Okay. Hey, that's understandable. I mean, right now you could see Cruella, that movie that just came out on Disney Plus for $30. I mean.
Yeah, I understand that. I just.
Not for you.
It's not for me. It really is not for me. I'm pretty old school with movies. I want to see them in the theater first.
Okay. Hey, totally understandable. I mean, everyone's got their own thing. I mean, me personally, I like the idea that I can just buy the movie and not have to go to the theater. Every time I go, I'm spending $40, $50 anyways.
I mean, but to that point, I'm pretty old school with HBO. Where if it was debut on there, I'd feel a little bit different. I think Bronx Tale debuted on HBO, which is one of my favorite movies. Gotti, the original Gotti with Armando Sante, not the John Travolta one, which was atrocious.
Yeah, it was bad.
I can't believe that Pitbull did not exist in the 80s, the rapper. Well, maybe he existed, but he was not, his songs were not playing in the streets of New York. I'm not into the streaming on that level. I love the theater. I feel like when you say Let Freedom Ring, movie theaters should be thought of in that regard.
Fair. Hey, it's part of being American, right?
It's true.
Next thing about what we're going to go into is a little bit about the Celtics. I'm not going to get into the controversies of all the things that are going on.
I don't want Kyrie Irving's name, other than what I just said. That guy we can talk about if he comes up.
No, we're going to talk about who do you see as the best fit or idea of the next Celtics coach. Brad Stevens is now in the back office, or say front office now, and he's got to find his replacement. Who do you think are some good ideas to replace?
Well, you can't get Doc Rivers back.
No.
I am. He's with the Sixers, I believe.
Who could blow a 3-game lead?
Coach K is now retiring. Does Coach K pull the wool over everybody's head and go to the NBA and be the Celtics
I think
coach?
He's staying with the university. I think he's just stepping
He's got
away.
one more year, I believe. Who is out there for coaches?
Chauncey Billups' name's been thrown out there.
So there's some because Chauncey Billups actually held a position coaching yet?
I believe so.
I wouldn't mind. I loved watching Chauncey Billups play. Scottie Pippen won coach?
Yeah, right. Bring up Scottie Pippen.
It's tough to say. If you're going to go next player, Ray Allen trying to coach?
Yeah.
Redeem himself with the Celtics,
Do you think in the NBA, out of all the 4 major sports, that the coach is the least important in the NBA? Or do you think that, you need someone like a player to get them in? They have one of the younger teams.
I've seen some pretty horrendous coaches in the NBA win championships.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, a lot of LeBron's rings were teams that he actually coached.
Yep.
Though I believe Eric Spoelstra is still with the Heat.
He is, and he got into the finals last year.
Yeah, so he's an exception to the rule, but I've seen some other times where you could tell LeBron was running the show. Maybe he's a coach someday.
Yeah.
It's I don't know who's out there to come in, but I do say in the NBA when you have the best players, because now you get the super teams era, which I do feel like the Celtics were partly responsible for that.
Theirs is a little different though. They made trades and acquisitions to make that super team.
That is true.
Players in the NBA together now go to the Olympics and they go to the
All-Star
and they
game.
talk to each other and they're like, we're going to create a team.
Yeah, and that's what the Miami Heat did essentially. They took the formula.
They took the 2 top free agents in the NBA and brought them to.
But then everybody started doing. Well, you say that, but the Golden State Warriors kind of built their own team
from the ground up.
They really did do that. The only issue that I had with them was when Durant signed.
Yeah.
I thought Durant, that was the softest move I'd ever seen in sports.
Yeah.
The team broke the record for the wins. You're supposedly the best player in the league, or one of them, and you couldn't beat them, so you join them. Yeah, I thought that was pretty.
And then he goes and creates a super team in Brooklyn.
With a lowlife, with the guy we won't say his name on the show.
That's fair, but I do think we're both kind of in agreement that this might be one of the biggest signs they need to do. This head coach has to get it right, or else the Celtics are in a bad place. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, both up for
Jason
contracts.
Kidd available? Is he still coaching somewhere?
He's available. Yeah, I believe so. We'll just see what happens. There's it's a long summer. I doubt it's gonna be anything that's being rushed at least.
Very true.
Let's just jump a little bit into politics. Joe Biden, Anheuser-Busch, coming together, 70% vaccination by July 3rd, and they will buy all of America over the age of 21 a beer. How do you feel about that, drawing people who are at this point stagnant to go get the vaccine? Our numbers have hit a point where we're not creeping up anymore, so they're trying to do this. What do you see? Is this a gimmick? Is this a good idea?
It could be funny for everybody to kind of celebrate once everybody is. Maybe you need an incentive. I did have the first shot. I have not had the second one.
So you would not get a beer?
I did miss it, so I need to go back and kind of figure that out. I've had people sitting in this seat saying they will never get the shot, period. I think it's funny. I don't think it's a horrible idea. What if you're an alcoholic and you can't drink? Or you can't drink for other reasons? Do you get no duels or?
Potentially, you have to look into the whole thing, but they're just trying to get people who are hesitant. There's a lot of hesitancy when it comes to vaccines.
Well, I've heard a lot about California's been given a lot of incentives. Some were saying you get Laker tickets, you get Dodger tickets. I don't have any problem with incentives. If the vaccine obviously it's working.
Yeah.
You will have people say that it's not, or you will have people saying that you don't know what's really going to happen to you. All.
After a certain period of time, that small amount of doses can't do anything at this point, right? I got the vaccine almost 2 months ago now at this point, and I haven't grown another arm or been really sick or anything like that.
And that's part of,
damage.
and one great thing about being in America is you have the freedom of speech. to speak out.
Yeah.
So if you really didn't want the vaccine, you could say some stuff. But a lot of misinformation also gets thrown into freedom of speech, and also bad ideas get spread.
Yes, like wildfire, especially on the internet.
You know,
Like the Danny Ainge stuff. There's these things going around online saying that he made all these quotes about him stepping away because of the way the player's been acted, and that's 100% not true.
yeah. Well, that's it. You know, but that's just false information. But like, a bad idea is a bad idea, and what we've learned definitely through COVID-19 is a lot of people have a mouthpiece, and they're entitled to that. But a bad idea is still a bad idea.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that incentive. You know, I'm not saying I'm the biggest Joe Biden fan, but so far as president, I mean, I don't really have any complaints. Conservatives do. I don't.
Yeah, I think honestly between the Democrats and the Republicans, if it was a Republican president, the Democrats would complain. If it was
Everybody wants to complain.
They're just going to complain no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, some of the things that are going up in price are because of what happened over the last year, and has nothing to do with the president. Would have happened regardless. Last political question though, you know, because you have a ton of fan questions. You know, and that segment's coming up, sponsored by
People
Facebook.
really want to know what the host who's there every week, you know.
But I couldn't have you in this chair without asking you this question.
Sure.
Donald Trump says he will be reinstated as president by August, and is spraying like wildfire in QAnon, things like that. What do you think is going through his mind? Because legally, it's impossible. There's no physical way he would be able to be reinstated as president. We have a line of command that now goes in the chain.
Yeah, and I hate to I dog on conservatives a lot and the right. There is a part of the population of the right that are just morons. You can't reason with these people. They might actually believe this.
Yeah.
That QAnon crap, that's why they've stormed the White House. Like, you can't fix stupid. And that's not anything, because I have no problem with conservatism.
Right.
But this part of the population is, if you're going to buy anything that this guy says, I really don't think there's a lot of, I wish you luck.
Yes.
In all the years of your life.
Yes. I mean, I will say that I think QAnon isn't really a conservative thought. The conservative thought is to like reduce spending, things like that. This is far, far, far way past that. That's not even conservative. It's just crazy.
Sure.
So.
Well, I don't know. Do you have the Fauci stuff on there too? Oh,
it's
we have
the
a
very
question.
first question.
We have a question. Yeah.
That's why I was going to give us, you know, it's going to take
Sure.
us 25, 30 minutes to get through these questions. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I could not just write all these down. There was that many. So let me just pull up the Facebook page. Also, Nagel, can you not tag me in a bunch of things when I need to be able to find these things? I've been tagged in 30 things in the last half an hour. So
now a big spoiler. What the host does here, he writes them down or he screenshots them.
It's impossible. There's a lot.
Sure.
I don't have a lot of paper. Who's using paper these days? Everything's electronic. All right, you're old school. Oh yeah, I forgot. You're the one going to the movie theaters. I forgot. I apologize.
36 years old.
I apologize.
A little old school.
The first question comes from Dan Morris. What are your thoughts on the Fauci emails?
Man, the right is really running with this. I kind of read up on it, and
You're gonna explain to me. I didn't read the Fauci
pretty
emails.
much. It's from what I've seen, it's not anything that we didn't already know. Obviously, it was the Right to Information Act.
Yep.
Sure, I want to know what Fauci said, but honestly, didn't really learn much.
Right.
He wasn't sure about the masks early on. He wasn't sure about it being in the lab. He thought maybe it could, maybe it couldn't. They're just running with it. I think there's a lot of, you can take any story and spin it the way that you want.
Yes.
And that's what I'm seeing on Facebook and on social media. The real hard-ons, as I would say, for Fauci, who again, the guy has no political
He's not in the game from any of this, except to be yelled at on Facebook.
That's what it is. And they unfortunately, we did put him out there so much that you do get this base that just hate.
Yes.
This guy made me wear a mask. This guy, he sabotaged Trump. It's sad. It's sad. This is an 80-year-old man who did the best that he could. And some emails that I didn't see anything or read anything that was like too crazy. No one knew what the hell was going on.
No. And by the way, Fauci just gives suggestions. He doesn't tell or dictate anything. Policy dictates things like that. So
well, the problem is the right has gone so batshit crazy that they're willing to crucify this man.
I mean, he was installed by Reagan, So
Yeah, the whole thing was stupid. I'm seeing a lot of posts about it, and I just go, it's just a waste of time, waste of my energy, and I guess I just overall don't care about the craziness of conservatives. I just don't.
fair. Dan Morris has one more question. Do you believe we are heading in a direction of vaccine segregation?
No. I don't think you should bother people whether you're vaccinated or not. I don't think anybody needs to be showing cards of that, in my opinion. If we're getting enough people vaccinated, then I think it's going to have a high impact overall. And dropped my mic, Colin. I apologize. Let's get that back on.
You change into one seat, and you can't just keep
Yeah,
it together.
that's a first for me. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that we're heading that way.
Yeah, I don't think so either. This is the United States of America. Like, there's a lot.
Yeah, as much as again the right has been like, we're going to martial law and this
Impossible.
and that. It's just not happening. A little bit of face cloth over your face. It was never a big deal to begin with. I just think it's sad how everybody politicizes everything, and we've seen that. We've seen that with this.
You think in like a year or two you're going to keep the mask, or you're going to do away with it after?
I don't know. I mean, this is a gator. I don't mind it. Honestly, it does help when you don't want to say hi to people.
Yep.
So I never had the mask was never a big deal to me.
Yep.
Minor inconvenience.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep the mask, regardless. There's some dirty people out there, and I haven't gotten
Very
sick
true.
in a
A
year
lot of
and a
dirty
half,
people.
so.
Yeah.
Craig Pelletier wants to know, favorite hike in New Hampshire, and what is on your Mount Rushmore of Boston athletes?
I think my favorite hike that I ever did was probably going up Adams. We call it the Beast.
It is a beast.
Anybody that's
Beast weekend, by the way. Sorry.
It is Beast of the East.
Yeah.
I think anybody that's really into hiking at Mount Adams is it's a bigger deal to me than Washington was.
Agreed.
How crazy that hike is. Is it my favorite one? I don't know. I thought Moosalaki was definitely, I've done that many times. That, it's got a sign. But if I was going for a leisurely hike, I would say Mount Roberts, not a 4,000 footer, is one of the most enjoyable hikes you can do. And if you like the Lakes region, it's freaking gorgeous. So
you can see all the way to Mount Washington from the top of it too.
Oh, it's gorgeous. So I would say those ones. But I mean, anytime you're on a mountain, I mean, life is good.
That's good. That's true. I mean, Adams for me too. It is my favorite. It's the only real 4,000 footer that comes to like a true point. So.
Oh, there's just so much to look at. I mean, the views are unbelievable.
Yep. Frank has a question for you.
Oh, the Mount Rushmore.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, Craig. I almost skipped it.
So definitely Tom Brady.
Yep, Tom Brady.
I definitely have David Ortiz. I think those are no-brainers for anybody that is my age.
Yep.
Then you got to get to a Celtic, right?
You don't have to, technically.
I think that when you think of the Celtics, you do think of Larry Bird. I know, at least for our generation, some people might say Bill Russell. Very different time there. There wasn't that many teams in there.
Yep.
I feel like Larry Bird was the leader around that 80s time where they really exploded and the NBA was becoming what it is today. And I'm not the biggest hockey guy. So if I had to put another player, man, because I want to say, what's his name that had the goal there?
So you can't even Bobby Orr.
Bobby Orr, which
Cam
again,
Neely.
much respect to the Bruins, but
Bergeron's been the.
I'm gonna throw Ted Williams.
Ted Williams
as the fourth.
Right.
Because when people think of Boston, they think of Ted Williams.
That's true.
But I think Ortiz, to me, is on the highest level because I think he means more to the city than just sports. He's more than sports to New England.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I mean, you can't go wrong with that Mount Rushmore. Frank has a question for you. Sorry, Frank, I don't want to.
Delachai.
Okay, thank you.
Frank Delachai, former guest of the show.
Did not want to try to butcher his name by accident. Favorite wrestler in each wrestling company. Now, there's a lot of companies. We're going to stick to AEW, WWE, Impact, New Japan.
Sure.
Ring of Honor, I guess, too.
Sure. Well, Ring of Honor is easy for me.
Yep.
Former guest of the show, the Kingpin, Brian Malonis.
I'm a pinhead.
I'm a pinhead. Manchester's own. Love Brian Malonis. Big fan of Brian Malonis. Was so excited when he got signed by Ring of Honor.
Same.
So he's going to be my favorite, bar none. In WWE, probably, if I really had to pick, even though he's cooled off quite a bit, well, I got two. The phenomenal AJ Styles, obviously,
Yeah.
Probably one of my all-time favorites.
Probably my Mount Rushmore of wrestlers.
Yeah. And no matter how old he gets or how long he's been there, the Viper, Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's any better than Randy Orton. When it comes to AEW, I got to go with my boy Cody Rhodes. I know a lot of people are hating on him these days because he might say too many things at too many times. I met Cody Rhodes. He was awesome. Even, I didn't get to mention how his brother blocked me on Twitter.
It's true.
Goldust there, who's all I did was share a picture of me in a Halloween costume. But I would say Cody. I want him to be champ.
It can't be.
Well, eventually they're gonna have to.
They have to get rid of it. That is. I'm sorry, Cody. If you ever see this, that's the stupidest thing you've ever done. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, he might even book that. But and then Impact. Ooh, right now in Impact. Well, I got to go with diehard Eddie Edwards.
Yep.
Another New England guy. He kind of is like the franchise player at this point. Yeah, he really is. Like, that's where he's the top guy.
Yeah.
New Japan, definitely. It's Jesus.
New Japan's tough.
I guess Ibushi.
Ibushi.
It's Ibushi. That guy's phenomenal.
He is. He's a great worker. For me, it's Jay White.
Jay White's pretty good. But if I had to pick just one, I wish Ibushi would come here.
Yeah.
And rest of the United States. And he's just, any match he's had is a must-see.
Yes, definitely, yeah. Is that all of them? Did we get them all? We got them all.
Yeah, we did.
Did we got them all? Okay, good.
There you go, Frank.
All right, I'll come back to your other two questions, Dan Morris. I don't want to overtake it all the time. Pat Taylor wants to know, what happened to the Bad Wings team in Nashville and Sunday Co-ed League? And also, why did you do it on Christmas Eve 2016?
That's when I made the final decision. It just happened to be on Christmas Eve. The Bat Wings, it was pulling. I was pulling my hair out with that team. Not that the team the next year was any better, but it was my first time coaching in that league.
Yep.
We tried to move a team from My Social Sports to a more competitive league, a U-Trip league. But I was pulling my hair out to get players there. Kind of started developing a rift with Josh and Riley. We were on the Kill Crew together, and I love Josh and Riley. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they would question a lot of things decisions I would make, and I make the lineup. People weren't happy with the lineup, and I started just resenting it, and it started just not being fun for me. And if I'm gonna do something with softball, I want it to be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And the thought of doing it for another season, I just couldn't do it. That was essentially all that it was. I'm not gonna beg people to come to a field.
Fair.
But the Sunday League, that's a problem. It happens to everybody, but
I agree. You probably shouldn't have done it on Christmas Eve. Trying to spend the holidays.
Well, the thing was, I didn't. I said it in a group chat. There was not going to be a big reveal
on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I think that's what Pat was trying to get at. Just timing.
Yeah, Christmas Eve. If you're stressed out about a softball team on Christmas Eve, then I can't really help you. There's bigger things in life. It's Jesus' birthday the next day.
Yeah, why are you texting it then on that day?
Yeah.
Just playing devil's advocate as we host we do. Leo Connors, host of Ring of Honor Sports, would like to know favorite baseball player at each position.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
No, he didn't say. Are we including the DH?
We should.
All right.
Because DH is David Ortiz.
Okay.
No brainer. Right field, I'd say Tony Gwynn.
Yep.
Center field, Ken Griffey. Left field, Manny Ramirez.
Steroids.
Third base.
That's a tough one.
That's a very... No, because the first player that I ever loved, Terry Pendleton for the Braves.
Okay, that's nice.
Terry Pendleton. When it comes to shortstop, wow.
This could cause controversy in our family if you don't pick the right shortstop. Just put it out there.
I'm sure you want me to say Nomar Garcia-Parra.
I assume you're going to say the player that Austin didn't know.
Ozzie Smith.
Yeah.
That was a disgrace. Man, that's tough. I'm going to go Nomar. Second base, Dustin Pedroia. I think that's a no-brainer. First base, my boy, Mark McGuire. Catcher, man. Oh, that's actually easier than I think. Jason Veritek,
Yep.
pitcher Pedro Martinez.
Agreed. I mean, Pedro's the man. You know, I have
That's
all
a pretty
attention.
good-looking team.
It's a pretty good looking team. A lot of steroids though.
Not that
Between
much.
the first base and left field.
Yeah, I don't think Manny did all that much, but you know.
Leo's other question is, are you still watching The Wire? I don't believe you ever watched the show, have you?
I watched season 1, and I did kind of like it. The ending I didn't care for, so I haven't really gone on with it. I think it's I think it's a terribly overrated show. Compared to Oz and The Sopranos, I think it's a very...
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to see more, obviously, but I can't say that the first season hooked me.
No, that's one of those shows you got to keep plowing through though. It gets good.
I'm sure, but I mean, honestly, like the first season of Sopranos was hooked. First season of Oz, I was hooked. You know, so we'll see, Leo. I might.
Yeah, I mean, I did just go back and watch season 2 of Oz, and I almost just dropped out of the show again. I forgot how kind of annoying that season was.
Yeah, I have to remember what season 2 was. More the revenge of Vern Schillinger.
Yeah, it's when Keller comes in and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave Fournier wants to know, how did you become so interested in playing baseball? He's got a few other questions too, just so you know.
Straight, Bill Beaulieu. I wanted to play soccer. And then when I turned 7, Bill just said, that ain't happening. Playing baseball. I coach. And then I fell in love with the game around that age. I mean, it took me a little while to figure it out. I'd say probably age 9 is where I was like, I love this game. Love it.
Yeah.
And I never really looked back.
Yeah, now, speaking of baseball, between baseball and wrestling, not professional wrestling in high school, which sport? If you had to do it all over again, you could only do one of them.
I was better at wrestling.
Yeah.
But I think as a whole, as America's pastime, as America's game, it's baseball. As I got older, I cared more about wrestling and high school wrestling, and I only played senior Babe Ruth. But I still always loved the game, and obviously I still play softball to this day. So, you know, but baseball's always going to be like my favorite sport.
Yeah, it's our family sport. It's our go-to. What was the first wrestling show you attended, and your memories of that show?
Man, the first one I can actually remember is in the Worcester Centrum when Mick Foley won the title from The Rock.
Now, was that your first one?
I
think you went to ECW stuff before that, didn't you?
No, I went to ECW in 2000.
Okay.
So I'd never been to an ECW. Tim took me. I think that was the first show that I actually really can remember going to. And Mick Foley, one that you saw all the TV taping, they taped Sunday Night Heat and Shotgun Saturday Night.
Yep.
And, I was such a little wrestling mark at the time, hadn't been to too many shows. And when they had The Rock versus Mick Foley, I said, there's no chance title changes hand on a taping.
Right.
And so when he did, I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. And, I got to meet Mick Foley. So, I mean, that's the first show I think I'd ever been to. But I had been watching wrestling for about 7 years before that.
Right.
So,
I mean, even during that time period, well, a little bit earlier than that, when they used to Coliseum videos, they would sometimes drop the belt, so you'd have to buy the thing. You'd go buy that.
Yeah, it was just very random. I just didn't expect that. And obviously, it turned out to be a historical thing because Nitro does the finger point of Doom, and the rest is history after that,
I think that angle gets a lot of heat when it shouldn't. Goldberg put his hand through a window that cut up his hand. That ended the whole thing, but
yeah,
neither here nor there.
A lot of stupid decisions in that company.
Yeah, Greenberg should have not done that. His last question is, what is your all-time favorite movie?
My all-time favorite movie, usually when I'm put to my feet to the fire, is Goodfellas.
Yeah, me too. That's
probably my favorite movie. It's a Wonderful Life up there too. I usually want to watch that around Christmas time, but if Goodfellas is on, I can just watch that over and over and over.
Yeah, me too. I mean, anytime it's on, even the edited version, I can just.
So good.
You still hear the swears,
Was he shaking?
Was he shaking?
Was he shaking?
Well, you bring the coffee with you. You had to go.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
So we'll go back, Dan. We're Dan Morris. We're back to your questions here. So I'm glad you stayed through this whole part to hear this. What wrestler from the Attitude Era would best fit in today's universe and vice versa?
Val Venus. No.
Right.
Oh man, that would fit in today's. I mean, I think Stone Cold would still fit in today.
Same.
I don't know if he
wouldn't be able to do this as he did.
I mean, I still think he would have caught fire. I still think The Rock would have. I think people think wrestling's changed so much since gone PG, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Goldberg, obviously. I mean, he's come back and he's sold how many tickets?
Yeah. I think, though, if Goldberg, if you did that today, I don't know if it would work. People hate things so fast.
Yeah, but when that was built right, because Ryback had steam and he was essentially doing the same thing, and they just killed it a little too quick to get a payoff at Hell in the Cell.
Yeah. But he'd also been someone else before. Like Goldberg was, you'd never seen this person.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have worked in today's wrestling, just because it's not just dirt sheet writers complaining anymore. Now you have any person who can have an account complaining, and it just the pressure to produce would have gotten to him more.
Yeah, I mean, I also think Rob Van Dam, because I'm going to count him as the Attitude Era.
Right.
He was in ECW, because people now want those 5-star matches. So I think Rob Van Dam would fit perfect in today's wrestling. He's wrestled most of the people that are current.
That is true. But who from today's would work back in
Was
the 90s?
that the original question?
It was vice versa.
And today, I mean, I think that what Kenny Omega's doing.
It is very kind of 80s.
He's very when he, a lot of people criticize Kenny for his promos. I enjoy his promos. I think they're great.
They're long-winded sometimes. I think Nick Aldis, for me personally, that way he carries himself would work perfectly in the 90s.
He would be good. I think the Young Bucks would actually work too, because people love, the people with the dirt sheets back then. If the Young Bucks were doing the stuff that they're doing, say they went to ECW or something like that, and they were putting on these matches, everybody would have been talking about them.
Yeah.
They would have been up there. They would have been wrestling the Hardys then too.
Yeah, definitely.
They would have been in the TLC match.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They would have been amazing. They would fit easily back then.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of these wrestlers who are here today grew up in that era.
They were fans of that.
So, I think any one of them could get over.
100%.
I mean, I would love to see Becky Lynch go back there and just beat up like Trish and all them, like that type of
Well, in the
style.
Attitude Era, I mean, they didn't really respect women's wrestling at all.
The fans did. The person behind the scene, who may or may not be trying to sell the company.
Well, I think, looking back, bra and panty matches were totally
Stupid.
Inappropriate. Evening gown matches were totally inappropriate. And I don't think you get a Becky Lynch to do a match like that.
No, definitely not. Dan's last question is, what character from The Office would you want to see in the Sopranos universe and vice versa?
Yeah, I would say I think Creed could fit well in Sopranos.
He could fit in the Sopranos.
He could adapt.
Mm-hmm.
He could be whatever he wants. He's like a chameleon.
Yeah.
As you said, he goes, the last person that knew this was Creed Bratton.
Yeah.
So I think Creed could do it. I think from the Sopranos, I think the biggest person that would have an opportunity to really fit in that world would probably be either Big Puss or Carmella.
Yeah.
I think Big Puss would be kind of he goes into his idea was to go into hiding.
He's gonna become like an FBI agent or whatever, a consultant.
So maybe he works in the office. He'd be pretty good for that. And I think Carmella, maybe Tony and her divorce actually happens, and our Carmella has to actually get a job as a secretary. She replaces Pam. She might get a little fired up there.
Yeah.
But if Carmella and Tony's divorce stuck, eventually Carmella was going to have to get a job.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking Meadow. All of a sudden she got an internship. She's working at the office.
Yep.
Something happens. They don't know that she's technically the daughter of a mob boss.
Her college knew.
Yeah. I mean,
So, yeah, I think those two would fit.
I'll say, Dan, that's one of the weird questions I've ever heard.
It's a good one, though. I liked it.
It's a crossover to two different worlds, I guess.
Very different worlds, but I do think those are two that could do it.
Yep. So now to get into a little bit of wrestling. Big day yesterday, right? WWE released a lot of names.
Sure,
Aleister Black, all them. What do you feel about that? Braun Strowman, to me, is the big surprise in what culture is saying that everyone on the inside kind of saw it coming because of his contract.
He was making $1 million a year, which you think, man, Vince, you don't have $1 million to pay some of these guys?
Well, he's not technically fully paying himself. It's, coming from the business itself, which has to be profitable.
Yeah, I did not expect to wake up yesterday morning to hear Braun Strowman, who is a star, being let go. So that was shocking. Aleister Black, he was starting to progress again, but he was always going to be on the chopping block. He's not a Vince McMahon kind of guy.
No, he's not. He's not a character for him.
Ruby Riott, not really shocked. Lana, that shouldn't really be a shock. Buddy Murphy really shouldn't be a shock.
The thing with Buddy Murphy, though, is honestly, he should go to New Japan Pro Wrestling. He would fit that style so well. But I don't understand why WWE didn't see him as a star. Like, I don't understand how they didn't
his
get
talking isn't good. Here's the thing. I say this about Ricochet, and Leo Connor used to be very offended by this. Once I've seen it, I've seen it.
Ricochet's too small.
So I would say I'm just surprised they did another batch of releases, and maybe it's not over. Are they selling the company? I don't think this shows me they're selling the company.
No, I think what happened is you have Nick Khan come in. He's the new guy. He's trying to do his thing. Vince is gonna have to back off at some point. He's 80 years old or whatever. So it's a turning over. It's a moment to say, where are we wasting money on? Okay, we're paying this person so much, and we're not really using
This is a business.
And then it is a business.
Yeah.
But talking about good news, though, our guy, the Culture, debut. I honestly, I'm spacing on his name right now. Carmelo Hayes.
Christian Casanova.
Did you watch it? Thoughts?
I've
feelings?
seen the highlights. Awesome. He got even a shout out from Triple H.
Yeah.
A tweet from Triple H. I think there's sky's the limit. I mean, Christian's always been a talented guy, and he's just one of those wrestlers that embrace the fans embracing him.
Yep.
And he's a guy you can just go talk to, and so I think everybody in New England, him and Anthony Green, literally have a whole region just pulling for these guys.
Yeah.
I thought to give him the match that he had right off the bat, and he looked like $1 million.
He's got swagger. Like he's just got he did one of those little backstage segments after where
he's got the it factor.
He's got it.
Rude would say.
Yeah, but when he talked after, they did like a little backstage segment that only airs on like Twitter or their Instagram pages, and it screams good. This is gonna be good. Like some of those guys they bring in, they got to work it out, and their promos aren't great in those little segments. They're throwaway segments that get like 100,000 views or whatever. But he just you sit there and go, he's getting it. He's gonna have to get pushed.
He has impressed somebody at the Performance Center.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, this guy. People have been saying for over a year or two, they're like, he's TV ready.
Yes.
Why is Impact not? Why are they passing on this guy?
Yeah.
And to get scooped up by WWE is a big deal because if you look at a lot of guys that were in Impact, they're in NXT now, so they had to do an extra step to get to where they wanted. I feel so happy for him because I think him and Anthony Green, I think they got a little down, and I'm just going off social media.
Right.
I think Christian went off social media. They got a little down during the pandemic because they worked so hard, and now everything was shutting down.
Yeah.
And now we're we're getting to the tail end of this pandemic, and both those guys are at the Performance Center.
Yeah, I can watch them on TikTok every week.
It's awesome. It's very awesome. I like the name, and he goes out there, and you feel like he's big time already, and that's pretty awesome.
No, I do worry not just with him, but any wrestler going through NXT because I heard a crazy stat that more NXT champions have been let go than actually win the belt on the next roster.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think he's going to do fantastic in NXT, and then it's a crapshoot.
Yeah. After
that, I could see Vince seeing something. What it is, I don't know.
Personally, I hope Vince is done by then. By the time he makes that go up there. I mean, at this point, Vince,
It's just crazy to see guys that you would go to your local wrestling show, cheer on, have a good time, high five them after, and now you're seeing them in the big time.
Yeah.
It's great. It's awesome.
It's a crazy feeling. I mean, we were on Leo's show all those years ago. We were saying that's the guy.
Wade, I remember Brian Fury came up to me after when Chris won the title, and he said, "Did you like the show tonight?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I know you did." I said, "We've been waiting for this."
Waiting.
And now it's like it's all it's all been true. He jumped over all those guys to get to WWE. He was the best in the group.
Yeah.
So
I hope for big things for him, and good luck for him in his career. Next thing, WWE, all these cuts. Everyone's talking about them selling the business, and I was mentioning that Nick Khan, coming in there, and maybe it's his thing. Do you think at somewhere AEW's catching? They're biting at the chops. They're kind of like making an impact on WWE that WWE has to do some of these changes.
No,
you don't think so at all?
I don't think they're cutting into their business. They just had a very profitable year.
But again, so has every other major company over the last year. Almost all of them have been up.
Well, how do you lose business? when you're not, the only way to really, they ain't gonna go head to head, not right now.
No.
I think if they keep releasing guys, and AEW gets enough guys that they can draw more viewers, that people want to turn and say, I'm a huge Braun Strowman fan.
Yeah.
You go head to head and they start winning. But it's not the 90s. WCW was putting a huge impact in WWE because they're beating them in the ratings. Well, that was like WWF's big thing was the TV ratings.
Right.
They would obviously sell pay-per-views and house shows, but now it's like there's just so much more. They can sell more merchandise. They got a network. They got the Peacock deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They only have the network in England now at this point, or in part of Canada.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it, but I do see AEW's popularity growing.
Yeah. Do you see them making a run in 5-6 years, or do you think it's like 15 years down the road before AEW is really truly competing with
to be the
WWE's wrestling side, not WWE Entertainment, WWE's wrestling business?
The only way to ever know is if they go head to head on TV.
Yeah. The problem is, though, and this gets me to my next question that we're going to ask, is do demos and ratings matter anymore, right? NBA, WWE, NHL, NFL, you name all of them. Ratings are down, demos are down. No one's watching it the way that they've always watched it. Money's at an all-time high in these places. Are companies and people who are the dirt sheets writing about ratings and demos overreacting to something that maybe at this point insignificant?
I think it's something to talk about. It's worth talking about. Does it have an overall impact on either business? I'm not sure about that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real. AEW doesn't produce their own T-shirts. Those are made through Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yep.
When are they going to start making their own shirts? It could be a whole lot of nothing, but I think people enjoy talking about it because it makes them feel good about the good old days of wrestling.
Right. You got people like David Alvarez tweeting out AEW got a .20 on the 18 to 34 demo, like as if it's like this huge win.
It gives people, wrestling fans that are our age, that are in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, they want to go back to a time where that was so awesome because there's never going to be anything like it, and this is the closest we got, So yeah, there's just a lot. I think it's fun to talk about.
Yeah, obviously. Top 10 wrestlers all time. What do you got for me, Dan?
Oh man, well, Shawn Michaels. I'm not gonna put him in any order because that's hard.
Ooh, I feel like I should hold you to that.
Probably Michaels, Foley, Austin, Taker, Bret Hart, Savage, Flair. I'm gonna forget somebody because I didn't write this down. Savage.
That's why I'm trying to put you on the spot here because that anyone can write their own top 10 list.
Sure.
Delete, Google, figure it out. It's in the moment. If it's really your favorite wrestler, that guy is going to be off the top of the head.
Yeah, well, those are 7 I can say right off the top of my head. Years ago I might have said CM Punk. I don't feel really that way about him anymore.
Yeah.
Probably put AJ Styles in there at 8. Trying to think of some of that really, as much. I just can't put Hogan in there. I just can't.
No, not based off his past. And honestly, his wrestling performance has never been very good.
Can't really put The Rock in there.
Because he left?
He just didn't do enough years for me. Definitely Triple H will throw in Kurt Angle.
So there's like a criteria. You have
Kurt Angle too.
What's your age? How many years did this person have to have service to be listed in the top 10 for you?
So The Rock did 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. So he put about 7 years of full time.
And 6 title reigns. And
you got to have a longer, lengthier for me. And I don't put Hogan in for obvious reasons, even though I do think Hogan's probably number 1 ever.
Probably draw-wise, right? Yeah. Money-wise.
And I did love Hulk Hogan, but I'm not going to put him in my top 10.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say what Hogan has done instead of these years of being a top 10 wrestler anymore.
Yeah. And I put Tommy Dreamer somewhere in there as
really?
an ACW guy. Yeah.
But what? So you mentioned CM Punk. Why? What soured you on CM Punk? Is it the way he talks after the fact and that you just ignore his wrestling career?
Yeah,
or the
he's
fact
just
that
been gone for so long. He was so hot, and he was going to be like the guy that you would say, man, this is the closest thing to the Attitude Era that we've ever had with CM Punk. He's just kind of pissed it away, in my opinion. The nostalgia for Punk is kind of gone for me.
Same here. I don't know how long you can live off the pipe bomb and like those.
I don't look back at him like I look back at Randy Savage. I don't look back at him like I look at Bret Hart. He at this point just feels like an afterthought. And that's just, I think, how he'll be remembered in wrestling. He wasn't there in the hot period.
No, he came in the dead
so
period.
To really, I don't put him on the level of AJ Styles. AJ Styles has been entertaining me for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think CM Punk, and I don't think he cares.
No, I don't think so either.
What he's remembered as. So.
No, he kind of bowed out too before the second boom, right? WWE started to have another boom in like 2014, 15.
Yep.
I didn't know she didn't say John Cena.
I like John Cena, but he was never one of my favorites. And I like him today. I wish he was there more, but John Cena's he's not one of my. There was about a 10-year span where I hated John Cena quite a bit.
How do you feel about the John Cena scandal that happened last week with him? He had to apologize about Taiwan.
Yeah, an accident. Yeah, he went.
But some people see Taiwan as a sovereign country.
Yeah, he made a mistake. I think it was a big deal.
No, but he said they're not. That's the mistake. He says it's part of China.
John, you have a cell phone like anybody else.
Well, that's the problem. It's because he's selling to China. The new Fast and the Furious movie's coming out. That's why it's kind of an issue, because it's like, hey, you're bowing down.
Yeah.
You're the NBA. You're bowing down to China again.
True. Oh, John. What can we do?
Well, Dan, I am now going to get to the toughest segment of the show, blank versus blank. Now, Dan, you usually do the tough ones last. I'm giving you a tough one sandwich, all right?
Wow.
So you got some stuff in the middle that is softball questions.
Sure.
The top and the bottom one, this could cause a ruckus. Look, your phone will blow up when this airs. There will be text messages sent. And there will be people who won't forget.
Ready for it.
First, blank versus blank. Roger, the cutest dog in the world, or Cousin Ellie?
Man, I got to pick one. Well,
I apologize, Mike, by the way, saying not that she's cute. She's adorable, but she's not my Roger.
I love them both dearly. Ellie came into my life first. And Ellie gets very excited just to hear my voice. But I love Roger. Roger scared the crap out of me when he went missing.
Yeah, that was tough.
But I love them both. They're both great dogs.
Shots fired, man. I saved Roger's life. He's looking for love, and you're choosing Ellie.
Very scary. Very scary.
That hurts. That one hurts. 2004 Tom Brady, Super Bowl champion 39, or 2014 Tom Brady, Super Bowl 49 champion. Had to pick one. Which Tom Brady you go for?
2014.
2014?
Everybody thought they were done.
Yeah?
They lost to the Chiefs, got slaughtered, and Belichick said we're on to Cincinnati, and they truly were. And I thought Brady was just even better than he had ever been. So I'd say that one.
Yeah, I mean that team, the Super Bowl 49 team, was all about that offense, and that 2014 was still part of that defensive run that they had from the end of the 90s into the early 2000s. Pedro Martinez or David Ortiz?
David Ortiz.
Have to pick one to never play for the Red Sox.
So I'm picking the one that does play for them?
Whoever you pick, never play for the Red Sox.
Sorry, Pedro, you got to go.
Pedro.
David Ortiz means too much.
Hall of Famer? Yeah. I mean, there's
too much.
3 World Series with
This is our bleeping city.
Yeah.
I love Pedro too.
Still my favorite Red Sox game by far. That is, Justin Del Rio posted about fair games. I had to post about that.
Yeah.
By the way, Justin, the Astros cheated, and he didn't know that part. I don't know if you saw the feed. He didn't realize that the Astros had cheated for that World Series. Game 5, Astros, they cheated.
Justin, we're going to have a little talk.
We're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Just
next time I'm on Nerds of Wrestling, I'll have to bring it up.
You have to bring it up. Yeah, he picked Game 5 of the 2017 World Series, Dodgers and Astros. I'm like, they're banging on trash cans that whole game.
Unbelievable.
All right. 2018 Raccoons or the 2019 Raccoons? Which team to you has the better spot? Oh, okay.
I was hurt.
Jump.
I was hurt during 2019.
I forgot about that. Fine, we'll change it. 2017 versus 2018.
Oh, 2017.
Yeah, the first one.
That was the most fun. That was the best series I'd ever played in. The Grand Slam in Game 5 that I had. And it felt good to finally win that league after years of suffering on the Kill Crew. No diss to Mike Lamonde. But, it finally felt like we had a home. And that was the most fun because we were the underdogs going to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, that MSK team was really good. They beat us, I think, every time that in the regular season. That team, that was in the league, was really good. The last time, really.
That was just
no offense to anyone who's playing in the
league
now.
When you win the last out of the game, 2018 was a blowout. 2019 was a blowout. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, fair. Well, I mean, 2019 wasn't too bad a blowout.
Closer, but still.
98.5, the Sports Hub. or WEI? Which one do you
I
listen to?
hate them both.
I'd pick one.
But if I had to pick one, say the sports hub, because WEI has too many racists on it.
Fair.
And then you got to go to sensitivity training. That's all I really need to know about your network. I do love Michael Hawley, though.
I don't think he's there anymore.
Well, then
That's how long you've been out of the game.
To WEI.
All right, last blank versus blank. Bill Beaulieu or Mary Ellen Beaulieu? What you got?
If I had to pick one, Mary Ellen. I love them both.
It's our mother.
Dearly. But yeah, Bill's been on the show.
Yep.
But definitely, yeah, I love them both. That's hard. That's a hard one, but
Both great people. We know
Bill
that.
has yelled at me a little more than she has.
Yep.
And you know how I feel about people yelling at me.
I do.
I don't forget.
Yeah. Well, understandable. No offense, Dad. Mother always comes first. We still love you. But Dan, this is great.
Thank you for hosting.
Soapy didn't come in and kick me in the face. This is great. I didn't get hurt.
He made threats too. He knew about the special show.
He definitely did. And I got a feeling that guy Dan Morris is in on it. I feel like I felt like those questions were trying to stall me.
He was trying to distract us.
Yep.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget, let freedom ring.